Hi, and welcome to my channel where I make dishes inspired by some of my favorite video game characters. Today's dish is inspired by Nanakodojima from Persona 4. Nanako is so insanely adorable, but in a realistic way. Sure, she's cutesy, but she's not cutesy in an overplayed way, just cutesy in the way a young girl would naturally be. It's so hard not to root for her since she plays such an important role to you as the protagonist. She's just your sweet little cousin that you're staying with who wants the best for you. She loves you and her father so much, and she is such a mature little girl since she had to learn to take care of herself without her mother and of course with her father constantly working. She does her best to keep up with schoolwork and housework, and she can't help herself from loving things so purely and wholeheartedly, such as idols like Reset and Junes, of course. As most younger family members do, she really looks up to you and all of your friends, and it's such a sweet relationship as all of the investigation team starts to form into almost adopted siblings for her. Rightfully so, they want to protect her as much as you do, and also allow her to have fun like all little girls should. As the climax of the game starts to unfold and she is kidnapped, you can truly feel yourself wanting to stop at nothing to save her and make her happy and safe again. Nanako is truly such a wonderful character from the Persona 4 team, and I think we all collectively feel like she's family after beating the game, and will always think of her fondly. Now, something that comes to mind for me and a lot of others when thinking of Nanako is her adorable obsession with Junes. She is Junes' #1 fan after all.
I love Junes!
That being said, I know that her and the investigation team frequently spend time at the Junes food court, so I felt like she would get really attached to something you can buy from there or something fun inside of the store. I feel like Nanako gravitates towards sweets like many young girls do, and I also love remembering how Nanako can give the protagonist Valentine's chocolate, but it looks absolutely atrocious. It's the thought that counts. I thought that all of these criteria fit an ice cream mochi really well, and I like to imagine that Junes would have a Valentine's Day special on these adorable mochi that Nanako would be obsessed with. Taking a bite of these would make you feel as warm as you do every time that Nanako shouts, "Welcome home!" when you return to the Dojima residence. Here's what you'll need to make your own: strawberry ice cream, chocolate ice cream, glutinous rice flour or mochiko, cornstarch, and optional cocoa nibs or mini chocolate chips. I am using chocolate and strawberry ice cream, but of course, if making your own, you can play around with whatever ice cream flavors you would like. We'll start everything off by grabbing a muffin baking tin and lining it with 8 muffin liners. Into each liner, scoop in a scoop of strawberry ice cream. Once all 8 are scooped and in place, stick the muffin tin into your freezer to keep the ice cream cold until you're ready to assemble everything later. We'll then start making the mochi dough. And until making this, I had no idea how easy it could be to make your own mochi. To start the process, we'll weigh out 300 grams of our chocolate ice cream into a heat-safe bowl. You'll place the bowl into the microwave and heat it in 30-second intervals until the ice cream is just melted. You'll stir the melted cream slightly and then add in 1½ cups of glutinous rice flour. Use a whisk to stir the 2 ingredients until they are combined and beautifully smooth. We'll then cover the bowl with some plastic wrap and place the bowl back into the microwave to heat it for 2 minutes. After the 2 minutes, you'll quickly stir the mixture up with a rubber spatula, then cover it back up and heat it again in the microwave. The second time, you'll heat for somewhere between 1 to 2 minutes. You'll know that the mochi is ready when the dough is no longer liquidy or milky, and the dough is quite solid. You can then remove the plastic wrap and allow the mochi to cool down to room temperature. This is honestly the longest part of the process, just waiting for it to cool down. If you want to make the process slightly faster, you can transfer the mochi to a cooler bowl and after a few minutes flip the mochi upside down so that the part that was touching the hot surface is now able to cool more easily. You'll then grab some cornstarch and pour some into a small bowl or plate. The cornstarch will be used here just like you use flour when kneading bread. It'll help keep the dough from sticking to other surfaces. Before kneading the mochi dough, grab some disposable gloves or oil your hands up to make the kneading process a little easier and cleaner. You'll then start kneading the dough out until it becomes nice and smooth. It will still be a little sticky and maybe slightly lumpy, but that's totally okay. Now you can add some cocoa nibs or mini chocolate chips to add a little bit of texture, but just a warning, these can make it easier for your mochi dough to rip or separate later during assembly. If adding, go ahead and add them in now and knead again until they are well dispersed. We'll dust our work surface with some cornstarch and separate our dough into 8 equal pieces. Roll each portion of dough out until it's a flat circle, and then grab your pre-scooped strawberry ice cream scoops. Place one of the scoops of ice cream into the center of each circle of mochi, and then gently pull the sides of the mochi up and over all the edges to completely cover the scoop. Pinch the edges at the top of the mochi tightly to avoid ice cream leaking out, and then cut off any excess mochi with kitchen scissors. Repeat this process with all remaining ice cream scoops and sections of mochi dough. You'll then place the mochi ice creams into an airtight container and place that container into the freezer to firm up for around 15 minutes before enjoying. Just a warning that the reverse is true as well, as you may need to let the mochis thaw slightly after taking out of the freezer, or they might be too hard to bite into. Everything's great at your Juness. But sometimes it's so rewarding to make something in your own kitchen. Like I said, I couldn't believe how easy it was to make your own mochi at home with just a few ingredients, and I really felt like I was back in Japan when I took a bite. The mochi is so wonderfully chewy and chocolatey, and the texture goes so well with the harder ice cream inside. I absolutely adore the mix of chocolate and strawberry together, and taking a bite of one of these mochi is such a fun surprise. It's like Nanako's cute brown hair on the outside and adorable pink dress on the inside. These come together so easily that if you're like me, you'll probably want to start making them on repeat with a whole bunch of fun flavor combinations. The first time Nanako saw Juness selling these, she'd be so interested but wouldn't want to burden her father with getting her some. Luckily, the protagonist would notice how much she keeps looking at them, and he'd swoop in to save the day with some. Her eyes would brighten up so much as she saw him approach with these treats, and she'd just have to give him a big hug. She'd do a cute little side-to-side bobbing dance as she chewed, and she'd hum the Juness theme in joy. Being as sweet and selfless as she is, she'd try to share some with her father or the protagonist, but how could they take that tasty joy away from her? They know it's important to protect Nanako at all costs, but you've got to make sure that she's happy and smiling too. The recipe card is in the video description if you'd like a more quick and concise version to give it a try. Like if you want a bite, subscribe for more geeky treats, and comment what foods Nanako reminds you of. Thanks for following along.